Well, hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Scout Prepper channel. Today a review of a product that's available from a store and has now been expanded on by myself kind of to fit my needs. So the review is at the core is actually the Pathfinder Store from Dave Canterbury, their hunting, fishing, and trapping kit. It's a great kit, and I thought it was super necessary for your, emergency preps and stuff like that, any type of survival kit where you're going to think extended stay, a long distance travel, stuff like that, where maybe you can't take all the food you want with you. Maybe you're going to be out longer than than your weight limits will allow in your pack, or your space will allow in your pack, your size, anything like that. So having a hunting, fishing, and trapping kit is pretty handy for some of your more in-depth or extended systems that you might be putting together. Now, am I saying this is something you put in your ultralight backpacking kit? Well, no, of course not. It's not even going to be probably appropriate for your get-home bag if you have something like that, where you're at work and some emergency happens so catastrophic that you literally have to use walking instead of driving home or what have you as your means of transportation. So I'm not saying this is appropriate for that, because that situation will probably be fairly short term. Even if you work 50, 60 miles away, in a week you'll finally make it home if you're walking, and you probably have the ability to do 3 to 5 days worth of something in your pack, at least something to keep you going, dry food and energy food and all that stuff. So this is more extended, and it's sporting. I'm a hunter, so this is kind of fun. This is a way for you to, if you were backpacking and you wanted an easy way to fish, an easy way to possibly hunt while you're on the trail, or some kind of a mountain man outing or something like that, some kind of scout deal, this might be real fun for you. So I did it as a survival system. I started with Dave Canterbury's Pathfinder hunting, fishing, trapping kit. I instantly realized that I needed a little more to it, and I've done some of the pieces that I've added. I've kind of already done them over a year ago on YouTube, so you can see that there. Okay, for $65, 65, you get this kit. Nothing else that's on the table. This kit, and it's in I believe a condor pouch. It seems to be fine. It does have 4 rows of Molly Pals webbing on the back, so you can attach it on the outside of your pack. And inside you have a fishing kit, which again it's called hunting, fishing, and trapping kit. It's got a cool lanyard on it. It is a floatable tube, waterproof tube, so that's cool. Has a ranger band on the outside with 100 feet of monofilament fishing line, just regular fishing line. And inside it has some hooks, bobbers, and 2 bobbers, 5 hooks, and 3 weights, I believe. So just a little bitty fishing kit. And to this, I thought I had it in there, but I guess I need to do that for myself, not just the video. But I'm going to add some lures, and you should do something that's appropriate to your area or region, because there are different type of lures for different type of fish. We have bass, catfish, crappie, stuff like that in my area, and so I'll add some North Texas style lures to my kit. And it's just a little easier way to fish if you have some lures. Of course, you can use those hooks or what have you, and I'll probably add some more hooks and weights because they're pretty featherweight. But you can get local stuff like worms, grasshoppers, mayflies, whatever bugs are around the water you're hunting. That's great bait, so you can always catch your own bait. But if you wanted to, a couple lures might be pretty handy too, or some kind of crawdad bait or something like that that would fit in the kit, because it does have plenty of room to add extra gear. Also in the kit, you get 5 snares, and these are what they call the mink snares. So it's 5 of their smaller snares, but they are steel wire snares. So you can attach the bottom to some kind of strand, have a steel wire with a loop, and this is pretty stable. It is also possible, as you know, to make your own snares. I've shown you that with some of that GI, those old green and yellow spools of wire. Any kind of wire, copper wire, what have you, just make or cord for that matter, but you can make your loops, put it on some type of trigger device and go. Well, you can use this too, and these steel snares can really hold up well, especially if the animal is trying to gnaw at the snare. Now, little side note on snares, remember that snares make you not mobile, because you have to find where the animals are going, find the good sign, bait their little trail, put the snare out, and wait for them to come, and that could be quite a while. It may not be where you can just set the snare and in an hour or so you have food. Now, I say that not trying to sound silly, but remember that something like fishing or hunting, you could take your fishing gear, go to the water, and within an hour procure a fish in theory. There may not be anything biting that day, but you know what I'm saying. It's easy to find the water. You know where the fish are. It's a little harder to find the game for a hunting situation because you have to go through the woods and either stumble upon them or find the sign. But trapping is even more in depth because now you're really trying to pattern the animals, set the little traps for them, make the traps, use the snares. It is a lot more in depth. So it's definitely a long-term deal. If you're out there for a while, by all means, go for trapping. And go for trapping anyway. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying it's a lot longer to normally successfully get a trapping setup going than it is to get a fishing setup going or a hunting setup going. Okay, the last item in the kit that you get is the pocket hunter. And this is kind of the foundation of the kit. This is, and you guys have probably seen this before, it is a survival slingshot, which sounds stupid, but it really does work. The bands are super stout, rated at 28 inches draw, and I'm actually at 29, but they are plenty to get that arrow going down range and kill an animal with it. And that's what it's designed for. Now it comes with an arrow rest already attached to it, and that's kind of the key right here. This is what they designed. But this arrow rest lets you shoot arrows off of it, or you can take this off with this wing nut right here, which is finger tight. You can turn it with your fingers. And when you take that off, you can shoot the lead or steel shot through it to hunt with as well. So you can have a bag of shot, bigger shot pieces, and use that if you're out of arrows or you don't want to use arrows. So this is a pretty cool tool. And what this does is, at just around a pound, it takes the place of your bigger bows, your survival bows and all that. And I'm not saying in a survival situation, especially if I was on a hunting trip, I wouldn't already have my primary hunting rifle or my bow, my real bow. But this is a way to have a backup for a survival means. It's not something I would take for sport hunting, but for survival, no problem, because it packs up so tiny, weighs only about a pound. With the other rubber band, it does come with two and a fishing spool. Now I'm going to reverse this rest to the other way. It just unscrews, reverses, and rescrews, and you can stick on this spool. And what this spool does is it lets you bow fish with the slingshot. So you wind all of your line around here, and when you shoot, it spools off the line. It doesn't turn, it's just a stationary spool. Now that's pretty cool. So now I'm shooting shot with this thing, I'm shooting arrows with this thing, and I'm shooting a fishing arrow with line on it so that I can bow fish. So we're really pretty versatile here. I guess as versatile as you can get, really. A survival slingshot's a pretty neat deal. And again, the whole kit with the pouch, the slingshot, the extra band, the fishing kit, and the snares, $65. Okay, but I told you I added this stuff to the kit, and let me tell you why. First off, when you take this kit from the store, when it arrives at your house from UPS or what have you, you'll notice that there's no ammo to shoot out of the slingshot. That was the most glaring thing. When I opened it up, I thought, oh, I need something to shoot out of it. So I didn't have any shot and I didn't have any arrows. So I went back to their store, which I'm sure was the design, and I bought their 3-piece takedown hunting arrows. These are kind of survival arrows, basically. All it is carbon arrows like we're already shooting if you're a bow hunter today, but it's cut into 3s. It uses special titanium inserts to allow you to connect them all, and then you're good to go. So now you can make your arrows, you can put this arrow together. It's a little less than 10 inches long. It's fletched with feathers so that it goes through the arrow rest without interfering. See what I mean? This goes right through the rest, and it won't bounce off, as opposed to using modern day plastic vanes. I'm sure if you're shooting today, you're probably using plastic vanes because they are so common, but you really need to use something like this with feathers. And again, just a standard arrow with feathers, but it is cut perfectly into the thirds with the special titanium inserts. Comes in a 3-pack, $59. So the whole kit was $65, and then it's $59 for 3 of these arrows. That is pretty expensive. You could do it yourself, and I bought the inserts to do so because I'm an avid bow hunter. For 6 inserts, it is $17. So you can buy it and do it yourself, but again, then you have to fletch them with feathers, and I fletched all my stuff with blazer vanes, so me personally. So I went ahead and bought theirs. 59 bucks, no big deal, but I bought the extra pack of inserts because if these do end up being arrows that don't last as long as mine, you know, I'm shooting some Carbon Expresses, then I can make it, you know, my own. I bought the inserts to make 6. So you need arrows. Well, you also don't have any bow fishing gear. So I bought their bow fishing arrow. And it's $29 for one, but you get a little more stuff than just an arrow with it. What the bow fishing arrow comes with is a tip, screw-in tip. Goes in any standard of the inserts, arrow inserts. It comes with the slide stop already on the arrow, which is good. Of course, a bow fishing arrow is not fletched. There's no vanes or feathers on this because it's not going far, number one, but it has to work in a certain way. So this is my spool of line that comes with it. You clip this to the bottom of the slingshot. You wind the line all around that spool. You put this through your arrow. When your arrow goes by out of the slingshot, it slides down to this stop until it hits, and that pulls the line as the arrow goes out. Make sure it free spools, because if it doesn't, then what does this become? It becomes a yo-yo. So you just shot an arrow that's attached to a line that's about to come shooting straight back at you, and that can be super ultra dangerous and lethal. You don't want to do that. So you use the bow fish and you connect this, spool the line, you put this through the thing, and you draw back, it hits the stop, spools out. 29 bucks, that's an easy way. Again, it's already using the $17.99 inserts down there that allow it to be a 3-piece, and it's under 10 inches. Now this will fit in this tube, so I can load all my arrows in one tube, put them in my pack, a 10-inch tube, and now I have 3 hunting arrows. I can have a little bag of shot, and I can take the fishing arrow to have a bow fishing arrow. So pretty sweet setup. And that's about as far as I went from the Pathfinder store, since I spent basically a car payment with these guys. Okay, I added on bank line, so I can do a little more, withdrawal line or what have you. And as you know, Dave Canterbury loves this stuff. This cordage can be used for shelter building and all kinds of different things. So I added a roll of bank line, got it for $8. And I already had it actually, but they're $8. I added 2 of my yo-yos, and I've done a full review on these on YouTube. This is an automatic fishing reel that may not be legal for sport fishing in your state. It's not in most, but this is a survival kit. So this lets you hang it from a little tripod in the water or off of a branch, and when the fish bites it, it reels the fish back up into the air out of the water, and you can get him. So an easy way to fish. Also on the fishing realm, I added a gill net, which you put bank to bank on like a creek or a river that's going by if you can, and it tries to catch a whole bunch of fish in there. Again, probably not a sport fishing item, but this is for a survival situation. Okay, so I've got the fishing down. I've got a little bit of trapping stuff, the snares, and I've got buku of the archery gear down. The other item that you're probably already seeing and you wish I would have talked about already was the gun in the camera view. So that is a Walther P22 5-inch military. Military just means it's OD green. It doesn't mean it's anything special really. But this is a 22 pistol. And what this will allow me to do, I have 2 magazines. Okay, one there in the case, one here, and 100 rounds of ammo. And what that allows me to do is also hunt. Plus, for defense or security, it's a backup gun if I'm in an emergency situation. Maybe my primary goes down, or I have another person in my party, like my wife or one of my 2 teenage children, and they need a gun because they don't carry guns every day. Now I have at least this in the survival kit, and this is a real in-depth bag, like a survival bag, a wilderness bag, an inch bag, something like that. But I have another means of a gun. So this lets me take my small game, even coyotes and stuff. It's no big deal to shoot one with a 22, they will die. So you can take your small game with that. But again, unlike the archery equipment or the slingshot with the lead weight or what have you, it does make noise when you shoot the 22. 22 is pretty quiet compared to you know, some deer hunting caliber like 243 or 270 or something, some big centerfire caliber, but it does still make a noise. So if you're trying to maintain a quiet profile and not let anybody know you're there, probably not going to use the 22. But no big deal to have, you know, 2 is 1. It's my police philosophy. So we always have backups there on duty, and I think it'd be silly to not have a backup in your gear of some type of lightweight and inexpensive backup firearm. Remember that a 22 pistol in most cases costs a lot less than your normal handgun. So say you're paying $500 or $600 for your primary defensive handgun, you can pick up these 22s for anywhere in the $200 to $350 range. I think I gave $300 for that one. And I know that some of the real expensive, you know, like Ruger Mark III targets and all that stuff can hit the $400, $500, and $600 mark. you know, and your Colt Woodsman's $1,000 and all that stuff. But I'm talking in general, polymer frame, modern day semi-auto 22, 10-shot 22s, no problem. You know, grab one and they're $200 or $300. So that's kind of the kit, guys. I've explained what I've done to the Pathfinder system to expand it and make it pretty robust, pretty all-encompassing. Now, I have a little more gear that goes in the same pouch on my pack. I put that in my pack. I put this on the outside, and then I have a little pouch with some of this other gear, and that is game cleaning kit. And it's just a Ziploc, then in there I have some latex gloves, and I have several pair because they wad up to, you know, the size of nothing. And I also have that Pathfinder set, was it? It was the set of knives that's a game cleaning set. It has a gut hook, has a skinner, and has a little caper knife in there. So those are handy. You might also think about a little outdoor edge or something bone saw if you're really going to get into it. So remember that not only do you have to have the means to take your game, but you have to have the means to clean your game. You might want to think about that. And also, I will throw in that hunting, fishing, and trapping don't probably come natural to anyone. You should try that before you're in a survival situation. I'm a hunter. I didn't hunt much as a kid. I was a lifelong scouter, a Boy Scout, but we really didn't hunt much. My dad didn't hunt much. I got into it when I was a teenager and have lived for it ever since. I love it. I hunt all the time, year-round, nearly every season I can get my hands on. So if you don't, it's at least something you should practice. Remember that, you know, for $20 to $50 in most states you can get a hunting license with a public land permit. You don't have to own land. And then you can go out and give it a shot. Go with a buddy that knows what he's doing. Watch some tutorials. Maybe sit in the woods without your bow or gun first and just watch the game and see what's going on and kind of get some strategy down on how to hunt them, how to track them, how to pick the right spot, things like that. And that might help you in your survival. Same with fishing. If you're not a fisherman, you know, $20 to $50 in most states. You have your fishing license. There's all kinds of nationwide public waterways that you can go fish on, probably lakes, rivers, all kinds of stuff. So get out there and fish a little bit one afternoon and get some practice down, and you'll probably get addicted because fishing and hunting are real fun sports that you can do with the whole family. But I won't ramble on. That's the review, guys. Remember that Scout Prepper is part of a 3-channel network with Scout Prepper, Scout Tactical, and Scout Hunter, all 3 channels. Check them out on YouTube. Subscribe and like them. I appreciate the views and subscriptions so far. Let's keep them coming. You can check us out on the web at scouttactical.com, Facebook and Instagram also on Scout Tactical, Scout Prepper, and Scout Hunter. And as always, thanks for watching.